Yes, guys, welcome back to the Once You're In podcast. We are back for another time because it's 2026, so new year, new us. We've wanted to get back on the podcast for a while, but obviously with last year, with getting the gym ready, we did some episodes like chatting about the gym and Slim and all that kind of stuff, and they did quite well. People liked the stories, and then obviously Reese was in prep, and alongside that, like we were both just busy with clients on stage like every weekend. So we've had a short slash quite long hiatus from the podcast. So we do apologize, but we are back and we are looking to be back for two episodes per week. One on a Monday evening. It won't come out on a Monday evening, but we're filming on a Monday evening, which will be on Zoom. And like we did before, when the shows are out again, we'll be doing show reviews because they do really well and quite fun to do those, isn't it? We at shows quite a lot as well, so it's cool for like us to be like, oh, I was at this show and chat about it. And then Thursday will be an in-person in the studio that we need to sort out a bit more and make it look a bit better, but in the studio and look to get guests on over time. So we're back. Welcome.
Yes.
How are you? How's life?
Yeah, man. Life is good. I was a bit. I'm gonna be honest. It's a bit of a shame when you were saying like we've fallen off because the like those Instagram pages that do like best podcast. We got tagged like honestly twice or three times, and I
Yeah.
remember,
I
I
don't know why
remember.
we were
Well,
tagged by
yeah,
Sanaya, and I was like, Sanaya, what are you
yeah,
doing? We don't even do the
yeah.
podcast.
No, we're not podcast. We're not podcast hosts anymore. We've given up. But I remember in previous years, anything like that, it was always like Spotify Wrapped. We were tagged in loads of stories. We were tagged in any, like literally any, and shit like
A
that. Which is
couple, but not many. Yeah.
yeah,
To
it's a
be
bit of
fair,
a
there
shame.
was a point where the podcast was we but like kind of like we weren't the first UK bodybuilding podcast. We weren't, but we were
No.
one of the first few that was about. Like I'm
Oh
sure
yeah,
there were
definitely.
loads like before we even
I
knew
mean,
about them, but
consistently,
like
I'd say like I would only have like Revive Stronger as like, and is that even UK? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
no, it's very
he's
much
probably
like US. I know he is from
yeah.
UK, but yeah, like we were getting pretty consistently like a good amount of views, like probably upwards of 1,000 on a regular basis, or either on YouTube and Spotify or individually. Like, so yeah, we're back, and come the 2026 reviews,
Oh,
will be up
this
there.
year we're taking over. We're
Yeah,
taking. It's also a shame that we didn't do the show reviews like when I was prepping because I could have given like an in-person behind the scenes. Oh, this guy was nervous as fuck backstage or whatever. That would have been quite good. But hey ho, maybe this year. So yeah, Finn, how have you been? The last time we would have spoke on the podcast would have been probably a month or two after the gym was set up. So it would have been like summer. So how's the last 6 months been for you, mate? Have you spoke since you've actually got? No, you might have mentioned Meg once, I think, on the podcast.
yeah. I think we did some episodes when like we were already together, like we
Yeah.
were just getting together. I'm actually at Meg's now. I'm
Oh,
coming back
so.
home. I'm coming back home tomorrow.
Mm.
But yeah, we spent Christmas Day and Christmas Eve and Christmas Day here. Saw her dad, and then we went to my mum's on Boxing Day. No, my sister's. Sorry, my mum was there, and then we went back down to Loughborough. So we were at mine for like a week, and then we've come back
Yeah.
here. We're just trying to like work it out. It's a bit difficult, obviously, with Meg working like up here. At the minute, like we can't just live together properly. So, but it's fine. Like it's working quite well. It just means a bit of driving and stuff, but it's sound. It's really nice up here as well. AW is a really good gym. She lives 5 minutes from there. Her flat's really nice. So like it's sound. When she's at work, I literally just do my work as normal. So yeah, it's all good. Obviously had a successful season with clients. Got towards the end, at that point where like think it was 6 weeks from MBW to WMBF Worlds, and it
Mm.
was like just kind of like dragging through it, trying to get Brandon and Tom through that without their physiques just like running away from us. And even like I think everybody by that point, by like November, it's like fucking hell, like kind of ready for this to be over. Even me, like and seeing them like kind of ready for it to be over. It was still great. Like going to LA was really cool. Had a great time. Like obviously Josh came, he had a couple of clients as well on stage, so it was great. But like by that point, I was kind of ready for a bit of a break. Um, so obviously I ended up going on holiday anyway, but I had that planned for ages. Went away for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks if you include LA. So got back from LA, then went to India for 10 days with my mum, and then we went to Thailand for 10 days, and Meg obviously came and met us in Thailand. So that was nice. And I felt like I needed that from almost just because the season felt like it was so long.
Mm,
Like I felt like I was at a show pretty much every single weekend from there's obviously that gap like in July. So
yeah,
literally from August to like what pretty much felt like November. Um, but yeah, it was still a very good season, very successful season. I'm excited for this one again now. I think towards the end, it's like more so ready to get everybody into an off season and then start the 2026 clients going into a prep, which a
yeah.
few have already started, which is cool. So yeah,
No,
what
that's
about
really
yourself?
lots happened, I guess. Yeah. So I remember the last time actually we spoke, you said I shouldn't prep. And to be fair, I actually probably agreed with you. However, I fucking proved you wrong, bro. No, I didn't.
Not
But
really.
no, I know. Well, to be fair, I don't think anyone. I didn't expect to be looking how I looked, which I was quite happy with. So yeah, prepped. I started in August, like 20th, 6 week prep for the first show. Obviously, I did 4 shows. Meanwhile, like having clients on stage, like I worked out that I had I think one weekend from August the 31st to November the 2nd, where I slept in my own bed for both nights on a weekend. I was in an Airbnb every weekend bar one, or somewhere in a different country, which was really cool. But it just resulted in me feeling awful towards the end. Like it was
It
so
was
weird.
bad to you, didn't it? I was fucked, man.
Yeah,
Let
like
alone you were prepping as well. Like, I was fucked in
yeah,
off season.
yeah, no. Like obviously, again, like just having like literally clients on stage every weekend, which is so cool, and like it made the prep up until the end so easy. Because I remember like filming with Sam a day out from the first show, literally felt fine. Everything was cool. Like I honestly felt spot on. I was like, I'm all good. And I'm really proud of like how I handled the prep. But afterwards, Jesus Christ, like the worst I've ever felt by like like imagine the worst. I like let's say for example, Finn, I know obviously you were battered, but like if I said what's the worst you ever felt, that times 10 is kind of like how I felt in comparison to previous
Yeah.
feelings. Like if I was to look back at like 2023's prep, I felt very meh towards the end, but like that was no like this was like completely different. Where I was like something's wrong with me here, like really badly. But I think it was just overexertion, like on every single aspect, and because I was like so. The Monday to Friday was me. The weekends were client shows. There was like 3 or 4 weekends where I was training at like 7, 8 a.m. I was then like I'd only have like a few carb meals. I'd like have all my carb meals by like I'd have them up by like midday. I'd then be at a show all day and have one carb meal at the end of the day. In between classes, I was going to gyms to do cardio and like do steps and constantly just with me thinking athletes, but also myself. And like I said, it made the prep so easy up until the final show or two. But like I got into a point where I was like, I'm really wrecked. Like if I was downstairs in the gym and someone said, "Hey man, can you go upstairs and grab me something?" I'd be like, I'd really struggle to even have the motivation to think of
That's
going
how I
upstairs.
felt through like
You
a
know,
lot of my prep at the end.
yeah. I had to
Good.
like
Yeah,
it was like yeah, like I'd look ahead on a walk and think to myself, like, really you got to want to walk there. Like I just felt like I had just no energy in any aspect, but it was more so like just like mental energy. Like it was like everything just felt very much like a chore and not in a good way. So I also then didn't like how I just felt. It was, and I got annoyed at that. Luckily, training was all right, but because I wasn't really training that much towards the end of my prep, I was actually doing pump sessions and stuff. But yeah, so prep was really, really good. Obviously, did a lot better than I expected, which was really cool. And then after that, obviously, I was in America for 2 weeks, seeing Catherine compete, which was sick. Then we went to Miami and New York, went with Abster, and then got a new car, and then got engaged. So yeah, pretty cool.
it has
I
been
guess
it has been
proof.
like a cool year for you, hasn't it?
Oh mate, yeah, like it's one of those. Like, I feel like it's from an external standpoint, it probably seems really cool, but when it's yourself, you're like, well, kind of expected a lot of this, and also because you put the work in, like it was very much a case of just like, yeah, sound like kind of expected. Do you know what I mean? In a non,
Yeah, like you were going to get a new car at some point. You
yeah,
needed to. You didn't need to, but you were going to propose because I kept
yeah,
bullying you. So you
yeah.
needed to propose at some
You
point
just
too.
supposed to, yeah, to make
Like,
it show thing.
but it's true, isn't it? Like realistically, it was gonna all those things were gonna happen
Yeah,
either
yeah, yeah.
this
It
year or start
aligned.
of next year, or start of this year or last year. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
but
It
yeah, it
all
looked like a
aligned.
lot
Like,
at once.
oh yeah, it was like if you were to think, like I said, like setting up a gym, like
That doesn't feel like we did that last year, does it? It feels like
no,
ages ago.
yeah, setting up the gym from May, and then like clients, like the best competitive season I've ever had with clients. Like literally felt like every single weekend it was like, yep, cool, wins, overalls, like really good placings, which was ridiculous. And then obviously my own prep, which like admittedly for like sounds a bit cocky, but it's probably the truth. For like a debut in PCA bodybuilding, probably like one of the best ever, like I'd say, which is crazy because I didn't think it'd be that good. And then like within just the general sort of like how I looked, I was like, fucking hell, I look pretty good. And then like even like the little things, like it just felt like this year, like and to be fair, the last like probably year or two, like I felt like my life's just very much like on a I'm on like a railway and I'm like just like glued onto it and I'm just like going up and down and it's all over the place because like the PCA awards, granted, it's a public, it's a vote, it's a popularity contest, like it like pretty much. But like that was the next day after I got back from America. That I booked the America trip 6 weeks before, so I had no idea. And then when I was on the nominees, I was like, oh, like, literally, I was on the flight to America. I didn't even have service, so I like messaged Sanaa on my mum's phone, like, what have PCA tagged me? And then she was like, oh, you're on this or whatever, and I was like, when is it? And then she was like, the 29th, and I was like, I get back on the 28th. That's weird, at like midnight. And then obviously that get in the car, and then obviously like Sanaya's engagement thing, which was really cool. But like, yeah, it just felt like this last like 6 to 12 months has just been very much like this, that. But I've just been like, oh, sound, this has gone well. Like, I was being in Rome a week later, me being in Italy, like the whole thing about like that Rome trip was fucking awesome. Like, it's just like the little things, like posing in that gym, and like the guy who had a camera goes to take a photo of me and then runs upstairs. Like, he sees me, he runs upstairs, gets all his boys, go through some rounds with some like mafia dudes who do not speak a word of English or anything like that. And just like little things like that. I was just like, this is just fucking cool. So yeah, the last like 6 to 12 months have been mega, but it doesn't really feel too real because I'm just like, yeah, sound like I think
Yeah, I don't think it would ever though. Like,
no,
I don't think you ever really have time anyway when you're like
no,
busy. Like, you don't have time to like sit and reflect on things. Like, that's what I was saying. I did a podcast this the other day with this Polish guy, and he was dead nice. That's dead like nice guy. He was one of AJ's clients. And
yeah,
I was saying, like, like the monthly dumps, like
yeah,
I literally do them because it makes me look back and think like what's happened that month, and I actually really like doing that.
yeah,
Like, I don't really give a fuck. Like, I don't need to post it on social media. Obviously,
no,
they do. They always like do well, like 'cause
yeah,
everybody does them, and like from an algorithm standpoint, etc. But I don't really give a fuck about that. I do them because it makes me look back and reflect on the last month and think, what have I done? And a lot of
mm,
this year, it's like fucking hell. I've done loads of shit that's
yeah,
like really fucking cool
yeah,
that if I'd looked back last year, especially last year when I was a bit like not in the best headspace, like it's like fucking hell, that's really sick. So like I do think, especially in the game that we're in, like in bodybuilding and with online coaching and stuff, it's always about like not slowing down and always moving forwards and
yeah,
always wanting to be better, which is good and that's how you succeed. But I do think now and again, looking back, it's like fucking hell, I'm actually doing all right. It's nice to give yourself a pat on the back. Like with the gym,
yeah,
now and again, we look at the gym and go, okay, this is cool. But like what? We've done that like twice, three times. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
We've seen each other and it's been busy, or on like the open day, we're like, well, this is good, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
but we don't do it every day and go, oh, look at the gym.
No, no, no. It's weird, isn't it? Like I was chatting to a guy at the PCA Awards, and Sanaa said to me afterwards, like he objectively had a worse season than me, but I was so happy for. I was literally like, bro, your year's been sick. Like honestly, mate, it's been so cool to see. And Sanaa was like, you haven't said anything like that about yourself, like because I'm not
We
going to.
don't, dear.
But
Like,
you also just like you. Well, I think again, we live in this world where everything's just like, yeah, what's next? And I think it's good, like you said, because you can be so progressive. But then also, it's like, are you always going to be like that? Because let's say, for example, if slash when again, it's just a pro card. Let's say, for example, I win a pro card, or I some way in 5 years I'm still alive, win a pro show, and finish dead last at the Olympia. Like, there's almost an element where, like, if that's the only thing you're thinking of, like, what's next? Like, you actually don't just enjoy what you're doing. Because I definitely enjoy the process, but it's not like when you hit an achievement. Like, let's say, for example, when I was in Italy and like I won the obviously the overall, that was like the goal after the finals was like, yeah, I'm probably good enough for a PCA Pro card. I also now don't have to pay for fucking tickets for PCA, which is a fantastic financial decision. So like that's actually saving me a good amount of money. But regardless, when I won it, it wasn't like, yes, I've won an overall. It was like, thank fuck for that. Like it was literally like relief. And then I was like, oh, sick, cool. Like there we go, and that's like that's not good. That's not a good mindset. That being said, I don't think you should be dropping down on your knees and like crying and being like, "Yeah, oh my God," and stuff like that.
It's
But
like you listen to any successful athlete or sports person, and they do always say they didn't really celebrate the wins enough.
yeah,
You know, what I mean, they're always like, I was just thinking about the next game or the next thing, like,
yeah,
which is at the time probably again why you can be successful and how to be successful. But again, if you every time you win a show go out and binge or go and get pissed, like you're probably not going to win that many shows after it. Yeah, it's not sort of
yeah.
conducive towards your goals moving forwards.
I definitely think that's one thing I probably like. I tried to sound. It sounds a bit cringy. I sound like you, mate. I'm sorry. Like actually, that's harsh. I know you had that little journal thing, but I thought to myself, like, what could I do better, like this year, and like the 2026. And I was like, I actually like my mindset after the first show was like, I'm grateful to compete. I'm really happy. And I wasn't that bothered about the result. My mindset after the second show was exactly the same. I was like, cool, let's just go into finals. But I could tell, like in the build up to finals, I was like, if I don't win, I'm a fucking failure. I better
Yeah,
win. And that's something that I've always had. And I feel like because I didn't think I'd get on stage this year, and because I was in open bodybuilding, I was like, I don't know. But I think I really want to try and again not take the like that thought process of like the pressure of I need to win or if I don't win, I'm shit and stuff like that. Because I'm always very much like I can get a really good result. Like after that PCA show, like winning an overall and ridiculous lineup, immediately afterwards, I was like, fucking hell, like if I don't win finals, this is a shit season. I'm a failure. Or likewise, when I won the PCA Pro card, I was like, sick. I've had a really good open bodybuilding debut. If I don't win a pro card next year or the year after, I'm washed. And that's not good. Like that's not a good mindset
yeah,
to have. I think, like I said, it's progressive, but I think it's one of those where like there is a fine line because, as you said, like some people would win a show, like that FitX show. Imagine like, jumping into an early show, winning a pretty mediocre show, and being like, "Let's go and binge. Let me
yeah.
go and eat 10,000 calories," and then you end up doing
There
worse.
is like there's a balance, isn't there?
Yeah,
And like I do think it can be your downfall if you're not careful.
yeah,
Like because you could have the best season ever and you're still at the end of it annoyed because you're like, well, I'm not an Olympian yet, or I've
no,
not
no,
done
no,
it.
exactly.
It's like
Yeah,
fucking hell, mate. Like, and again, like we always say at the end of the day, and obviously, yeah, the better that you get at bodybuilding and the
yeah,
the more established you get, it does become it becomes quite influential on your life financially. Like, so it's more than just a
yeah.
hobby. Like, realistically, it can become your job, and like for both of us, like it is related heavily to our jobs. Like,
No,
but
you're way better of a coach than
oh
your
yeah,
boy.
yeah, hundred
You'd be
percent.
broke if it was linked, mate. You'd be broke.
No, I'm a mate. I'm a British champion. I'm gonna just hang on to it forever.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah,
obviously, it is massively related.
yeah,
Like how
definitely.
successful you are
Yeah,
as a bodybuilder and a coach. Like again, like even within coaching, like it's the same. I'll have a show where I might have two or three clients win, get an overall, but then I'm a bit gutted about the lad that came second. Or it's like, what the fuck? Like, but you can't. That's partly how you stay driven and keep moving forwards, but it's also not healthy. And my prep was literally ruined by that mindset of like,
yeah,
if I don't win, I'm shit. And like,
yeah,
it made me literally look worse. Like, if I'd have used my last prep instead of thinking about like, if I don't win, I'm a failure, and instead of I'd have thought, I just want to look good and be happy with my stage photos,
yeah,
I would have probably done better. Like,
yeah,
well, I would have done better. And then for the past like year or two, I've literally thought I'm shit because of how much I just ruined myself at the end.
yeah.
And it's like, fucking hell, what am I doing? Like, I got into this because I just wanted to look a bit better and enjoyed training.
Oh, mate, yeah. Like, let's say, for example, if we were 17 again, 18, like, think about the kids at our gym. Like, if you competed, if someone in your gym competed when you were a teenager, regardless of how well they do, you'd be like, you look fucking sick, bro.
Yeah,
Well
you
done.
wouldn't give a fuck.
But
Yeah,
yeah, you don't care. Like, I remember the first time I saw some people compete. I didn't care if they won second, third, doesn't matter. Like, you just be like, yeah, man, class. But I feel like the deeper you get into it, there is that element of like pressure. And like I said, like before my first show, and like before even the second show, I was like, yeah. And then I could definitely tell I started to switch into that like results over anything, which is not good because that's not what it's about. Like I'll always say the process is everything, and it kind of is. But again, no one's going to put as much time and energy as we do into this and be like, yeah, man, I'm happy with a fourth place.
yeah.
Like,
I think it's. I don't think it's like that. I don't think it's about being happy with not winning or
no,
you're allowed to be
it's why you're doing it.
disappointed.
That's literally, yeah, it's why you're doing it. That's
Yeah,
literally
you're allowed to be disappointed. You're allowed to be unhappy. I think that's a good thing.
it. Yeah,
But when it gets to the point where you literally, like, I was miserable. Not just because of my placings, like just because I was like, I literally don't know why I was competing towards the end. Like I wasn't doing
No,
it for any other reason than I told myself I was going to, and like I don't think that's really a good thing.
no.
Like you should still want to compete. If you're literally at the end of a prep, and not even at the end, fucking half most of the prep,
Yeah.
like if you're just thinking like fucking hell, let's get this show out of the way, just stop and just get into
I
a
mean,
game.
but in a way, that's like literally. Funnily enough, Sam actually mentioned to me when it was my meetup a few weeks back about you and me because I was like, just maturity. Like my prep this year or last year, I could have done Worlds, which was 2 weeks later than the PCA Italy show, and I beat half the people this season in the pro lineup, and the guy that was third. I probably would have. I don't think I would have beat the guy in second. Lubos and the number two dude were really good. I think I probably would have got third, in my opinion, if I was like, I beat the guy in fourth. I think I beat the guy in the fifth and stuff like that. And I beat a fair few other people. The guy in third, I think it would have been toss up, but I think I would have done it. Irrelevant of that, I would have got like a grand or whatever. And I said to Sam about that. Sam was like, "Oh, did you not? Were you not tempted?" And I was like, "No, because I wasn't enjoying it anymore." And he went, "Oh, so like you stopped because you weren't enjoying it." Fincher took notes, and I was like, "Yeah, but we were both younger. Like if that was 2023, and I looked the way I looked, I would have been like, nah, 2 more weeks,
Yeah.
2 weeks." But like I remember, like after the Italy show, I was like, right, I'm done because next week I've got clients competing, and the week after I've got clients competing, and I would quite like to not think about myself on a show day
Even
and
from
not
like a sorry, even from like a coaching standpoint, like
think,
I feel like it's easier now to say to clients like, let's just leave it there, mate. Like you've done
yeah,
well. You know,
yeah,
you've had a good season. Like you don't need to carry on unless you really want to. And if they're like, yeah, I'm not really bothered. Sound cool, wrap it up. Let's get into an off season. Whereas
yeah,
like in the past, we might have been like, oh, but there's this show and like
yeah,
you could do well at that show. And it's like again, you learn from every single prep, your own preps and your clients' preps. Like I feel like you learn from every single one, and like you can't re sort of replace experience. And we're still not
yeah.
that experienced.
Oh,
You
mate,
know what I
we're
mean?
very inexperienced, but also you've got to remember as well, like there is an element where the stage is there. Like this isn't our first rodeos as coaches. That wasn't my first rodeo in a prep for me. It was like I've done this for a good amount of time now. And let's say, for example, if my goals were, I don't know, a check from PCA, oh my God, like cool, I'll get one next year or whatever. Like it's not like I'm gonna be like, I've got 2 weeks. Like, could I have bullshitted? If I didn't win the Italy show, would I have done worlds? Probably slash maybe, but that was probably again making a wrong decision. Where when I got it, I was like, no, I'm cool, I'm content. Like a week afterwards, I handled like the first 2 weeks. I handled the first week like maybe I would just to see if I felt good. And I remember like I looked really good after a week, and I was like, I could easily do it, but I was like, the inner drive isn't there, and as a result, why force it? Because I'm just not going to enjoy the prep, and I don't want to end as good as the season is. I'm not then going to end on a bit of a because that's only going to set me up worse for an off season. And as much as I felt awful afterwards, my training and my physique, like the way I look now, I'm so much better calling it 2 weeks earlier because I got what I needed, and I was like, I'm not going to string this on.
That's what like looking back,
Yeah,
like because my prep finished quite negatively, but then
yeah,
it also ended up positive because of the way that like I won but didn't. It was like that just fucked me over. You know what I mean? It was like there's no excuse. I'm not saying like oh like but like if I'd have won on that day,
yeah.
100% the start of my off season would have been better.
Oh
100%.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Like
And then
which is
also,
crazy and immature. Like
yeah,
simple as that. But you learn.
the best thing would have been for you would have been to have done the show the week after the BMBF show. When you couldn't enter, win, and then end it there. Like that
Yeah,
would have
because
been
I
the best.
look good then. Like I actually
Yeah,
look decent, yeah.
like that would have been the smartest decision. Finn did a BMBF show and then ate a good amount of food and looked really good and then couldn't enter the UK FBA show. But
Yeah.
if you had done that the next week and just wrapped it up there, fucking hell, like you probably like I'm not going to say you would have competed sooner, but like it wouldn't surprise me if you were like
I
now
might
you
have
got
gone again last year. Like, yeah.
yeah, or you went again because you would have like ended on a okay. I didn't actually fuck myself up that much. I got a really good look. I also got two shit looks or two worse looks. This is what I need to do. Let's go again and do it properly. You know?
That's the plan for this year.
Ah, secret prep, bro. Oh, mate, with the way you're dieting now, like you're probably going to be ready for the back end of the year. Finn's dieted for 10 weeks and he's lost 2 pounds. So
Hey,
yeah,
I haven't dieted for 10 weeks. This is the fifth week and I'm down like
1 pound.
5 kilos.
Oh, really? How
Yeah.
have you been week? What were your
92 kilos or
what
100,
pounds? Like
200,
204?
yeah, just like low 200s.
Okay, yeah. No, fair
I
enough,
feel
man.
good. And the thing is as well, like I'm not really putting much. Initially, I was like, oh, I want to get down to like 180 or like low 80 kilos.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like have a look now. I'm actually like, I look all right at this weight.
What were you like back in the pure gym days? Like when you were like pretty lean, had the same arms and everything else was a bit shit, no legs. What were you there?
Probably like maybe like high 70s.
Okay, yeah. Because I feel like, what would you know, if you weren't bodybuilding, what would be your like your? I know you're not like, I wouldn't say like directly bodybuilding. You kind of been like just like training and kind of eating. But if you weren't pursuing, let's say for example, if you couldn't
But isn't
compete,
that body? I don't think I've really
yeah,
not been bodybuilding. The only thing that I would say that I haven't really been like locked in on is posing.
yeah,
Otherwise, I've still eaten my meals. I've still trained. My sleep's still been good. But like
haven't
my
learned
stress
way
obviously
too
was.
sweaty. When, like you haven't wrapped up a week's worth of cardio for like 5 years since your last pro.
Yeah, but do you need to do cardio?
From a
Like,
health standpoint, mate, considering you're natural, like how
yeah, but
hard
like I
stuff
would
like that.
argue that I do a good amount of steps, especially like now that I'm dieting. I do a
Yeah.
decent amount of steps. I actually have got cardio in on rest days now, but it's only like 20 minutes.
Okay.
I'm not denying I should do cardio from a health standpoint. I'm not
Yeah.
denying that. But I also don't think that
The heart is the most important muscle.
the heart is the most important muscle it is. But I'm not, I would argue, I'm not saying you shouldn't do cardio, but I'd argue like keeping your steps above 10K in your off season is
Yeah.
a decent enough amount, especially when I'm not like 250 pounds plus and like nearly dying, gonna
Yeah.
kill myself on drugs. Like, yeah.
285, but big difference, yeah.
Yeah, but I was just saying, like
Yeah.
anything above 250, you're gonna die soon. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense. Nah, fair enough. I get that.
so
But
you're
regardless,
prepping
like,
again this year?
yes, yeah, of course, man. Yeah, hell yeah. Don't know when. I have absolutely no idea. I'm not going to run a off season like normal off season ever again because I don't think they respond that well for me. I think I always rebound really well out of like a diet and put on a good amount of like muscle, look really full, and then I just get progressively like lesser responsive. And since January of last year, I have literally had like a 2 to 3 month push up, followed by some form of diet, maintenance, harsh deficit, prep, whatever, and then basically just gone back up. And every time I've done it, like in May of last year, I was 110 kilos and I was on stage in November at 114. So like, and I wasn't stage conditioned. I remember you saw me pose in the summer and you were like, you don't need to really get any much leaner than this. I was lean, but I wasn't like shredded. Like I looked like 6 to 8 weeks out, and my legs looked like 12 weeks out because I didn't have any legs at that point. So yeah, I basically like post prep, like food was at like 950 carb from like a week before. So that Italy show, the 2 week build up. Then and obviously, too fat. I never really spoke to you too much about like the peak, but the peak looking back was fucking absurd for that Italy show. Like 2 weeks of from finals where I had 1 or 2 days at baseline, auto-regulated calories based off like movement when we were in Italy. And then I literally worked out, like looking back at logs, I was running like 950 carb literally out of the 12 or so days that I was in the UK for 10 of them with like no movement. My steps were at 4K from Monday to Friday for the Italy show. And I only did 2 pump sessions. Didn't really make sense, but I look pretty good. So like food's been really high since like that point, really. And I kind of just took that baseline like 950 carb diet and just ran with that trait since, which has been cool. Up to like 287 to like 293, which is really fucking cool considering that like I've definitely put on body fat, but I'm like not in a I'm in a really good position. But I know if I was to keep doing this, I would get worse. Like if I was to get to 300, I could bullshit 300, but it wouldn't then get to a good 305. It would be like you get to 300 and you're like, oh, bit shit. So I go to Spain with Sinai next week, and then I think like while I'm out, I'm just going to start like because I'm not going to be taking insulin and stuff like that with me. I'll just start pulling things down. So like I'll still eat out with Sinai and stuff like for lunch and stuff like that, but like and dinner. But I'll probably start bringing food down, and then look to get down to like 275, 280. There's a small part, and you'll laugh and go, no, don't do it. And there's a very like low likelihood. But if things respond well, I'd be like 9 to 10 weeks out from the first two bro show, and there's a pro qualifier 2 weeks later. But then also like the headspace is, will I be better? Yeah, because my legs are better. But if I was to win a pro card, then I'd literally need like 2 years off to be competitive. Like I'd need a good amount of time. And therefore probably won't do it. So it'll be like pull down a bit, unless I look really good, where I'm like at 275, I'm like, fuck, I'd take off 10 pounds on stage condition. I'll go back into another push, probably go up to like 305, 310, and then come down, and then depends. Like I'll do a two pro show. I'd like to do a PCA pro show if possible, just because I think PCA pro show. Have you seen PCA pro shows like the bodybuilders before?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
decent.
yeah, yeah. I always think it's really, really cool. So I'd like to do one just to do it, and then do a few pro quals and see kind of how I stack up. Really, like I don't know. Really, again, it's one of those sort of things. Like I think my strengths are good, but I also know I do need to be better. And I think if I was to do, in my opinion, if I was to do five pro quals, I think I probably do win a pro card. I'd be very close, but it's just a case of actually having a pro level physique, which is the most important thing, and pro level body parts. And I think I have some, but I don't think I have a. I wouldn't be going into a pro qualifier at this point going, yeah, man, I'm going to fucking destroy everyone. Like, no one's really probably going to out shape or out structure me. From the back, I'm probably quite close, more so through glutes and hamstrings. But then, like from the front, will I look a bit young in comparison to some older boys? Probably. So yeah, we'll see. What's your thoughts?
I think obviously it's different, like enhanced side of things. Obviously, if that
Yeah.
was a natural
Oh,
guy
you
saying, "Oh, mate, I'm
fuck.
going to go and
Yeah.
do the early shows after like finishing my prep in September or whenever it was," I'd be like, probably not the best idea.
Yeah.
But like realistically, it's not as if you're going to completely fuck yourself up doing that. Like
No.
it's maybe not the best or healthiest thing to do, but
Yeah.
it's not anywhere near as unhealthy as if you did it naturally, which sounds crazy. And people be like,
Yeah.
"What?" But like you were like you wouldn't be recovered yet if you were natural from your prep.
No.
Like some people it can take 2 to 3 months. Some people it can take 6 to 12 months. I'd
Yeah.
argue if it's taking longer than 12 months, like you've absolutely fucked yourself. But still, like it can easily take 6 to 12 months to
Yeah.
get fully recovered to the point where you're like, oh, I feel fucking great again. My libido's fully back. I'm
Yeah.
training. My training's flying. I feel big. I feel strong.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready to prep again, maybe. And even then, I always say to clients, it's not about just getting there. It's about
Yeah.
staying there. Like if you
Yeah.
just get there and then you prep again, what are you doing? Like it's like you've been drowning for half an hour and you literally get one, you come up for one breath and you just go, oh, I'll just go back down. Like, no, you'd literally get out of the water and fucking try and survive for the next hour. You'd be fucked. Like, so you want to stay there for ages to
Yeah.
like actually get healthy again. With you, it's a bit different because obviously, even when you are at the depth of a prep, like, yeah, like from an endogenous hormone side of things, it's not great, but like you obviously in a position where you're replacing that and you still feel fucked. Like you say, you obviously like your libido and stuff wasn't great. Like that's still all going to be there, but it's nowhere near as bad in regards to a natural prep where it'd be like, do not go back into a prep. So like, if you did that, I wouldn't be like, oh mate, what the fuck are you doing?
Well,
You're an idiot. I'd be
no.
like,
The only parts that are pulling me towards it is I don't really have as many clients on early in the year. So like the next 3 months I could just lock in and focus on that, which would be cool. If I do obviously win, that kind of ends my prep where I won't have to then cut like it where it coincides with loads of clients on stage. And also as well, like last year with my leg injury, like I knew as like my legs were okay, but I knew they weren't anywhere close to what they were before. Where already I'm like, my legs are looking a lot better. Like my legs are like, I'd argue probably back to where they were, if not better, which is really cool. Which they weren't last year. They were still pretty significantly downsized from the front. But so like this year they'd be even better than that. So like that's kind of pulling me towards it. And also as well, like I feel like the older you get, the more you realize like you ain't gonna be doing this all the time. Like I'm not gonna be probably doing this in 10 years. And I think my knee injury really put that into perspective where I was like, looking back, I probably would have competed in 2024. Even though I wouldn't have done that well, it would have been cool just to have got on stage. And then as well, like maturity. Like after my first prep, Jesus Christ, you said to me if I prepped again, like I'd be like, fuck that. I want to eat some food. I don't want to think about a diet. Like don't want to think about anything like that. Where now, and especially as well, my prep wasn't that long. The thought of like going back in, I could prep today and be absolutely sound, and my prep hasn't like finished not that long ago, which I think is again probably just a sign of like being in it for longer. You said that to me after my first prep and my second prep, like a couple months later. Yeah, what about prep? I'd be like, no, fuck off, And as well, I think it's when you see yourself and you're like, oh, I'm actually all right. Like I'm compared to the standard that I need to be. Of course, I need to be bigger. But I don't think for like an amateur bodybuilder in the UK, I don't think I'd have many people ahead of me regarding like where my goals are, like short term and also long term. Like there's definitely a lot better people, 100%. But I think I'm like pretty close to, I'm ahead of where I thought I was. So I'm like, why not fucking make the most of it? And if
Yeah.
I'm in a good spot, maybe. But again, the likelihood is probably not. But if things start to respond well once I get back and I'm feeling good, training's really good, my body's responding well, and I look at those comparisons and I'm like 275 in comparison to 275 on the weight last time, and I'm like considerably better, then cool, let's go for it. But I'd like to be better than last year. I don't just want to compete. If I'm like, if the only thing that's improved in my legs, fuck that, I'll wait.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be just like, oh, Sam, let me just bring the same physique, but my legs are an inch bigger. Like that's no. And also, that's not a pro level physique. That's a very good amateur physique, but that's not a overall winning at a pro qualifier physique. I could maybe bullshit a win or an overall at a regional, but I think after like again the year I've had, if I'm just going to be dipping my toes in like to the NPC, I want to actually go all in. I don't just want to go, yeah, let me just get a two
I feel
bros
like you're at
class
a
win.
point now where you don't need to be pissing about doing that. You need to be
No,
like, when I'm going for it, like I'm going for it. I'm
yeah,
not just
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, I'll see how
exactly.
I get on. Like,
No, exactly. Yeah, no, it's not like yeah, there's a definite sort of like different standard. So yeah, we will see. But otherwise, like this year to come, like I'm quite excited for just a little bit slower time. Like, and obviously you said about clients getting started into this prep and or this for this season, and it's quite nice. Like I feel like after the year we both had in regards to just like intensity, the last like month and two of us being away, and then the next couple of months, like us just getting back into a flow of the podcast, like me not thinking, what am I doing this weekend? And I'm like, oh, I'm here. Like, oh, I actually
feel
don't
like
have
you
anything.
can breathe again a little bit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, definitely. Which is
which again,
exciting.
it's not like we're not saying it that from a negative standpoint.
No, definitely.
It's like anything, like any kind of work or hobby that is kind of seasonal, which
Yeah,
bodybuilding, like contest preps are seasonal. Obviously, there's
yeah,
still a lot of shows now, and they kind of run from like April till November. But
yeah,
like, still, that little gap in between is quite nice, where it's like, oh, I'm not at a show every weekend, and I can just have a weekend sorting a couple of bits in the house, and it's like, oh, sick. Like, I've actually been able to like do a couple of bits and like put some fucking canvases up and stuff that like you literally don't get a chance to do because you literally on a Saturday and a Sunday for weeks we were out the house at 7 a.m. and not back till
yeah,
like 9 or 10 some days, and or away on the Saturday night and getting back late on the Sunday, and you're just knackered. Like you get
yeah.
back on a Sunday at like 8 p.m. and you're like fucking drained. You just eat and go to bed. It's like your whole weekend's gone. And again, a lot of the time, they're amazing weekends because clients are doing great and stuff. And it's not. We're not complaining. It's just it takes it out of you when you've done it week in week out for a fair few months.
No, definitely. I think like as you said, like the emotional side of things, and also as well, like it leads and bleeds into like your social battery for the following few days. Like you get to a Monday and you're like drained from the weekend, and then you're like, right, back into check-ins, back into this, and then before you know it, you'll feel good again, and like it's the end of the weekend,
That's
and
what I like about Saturday shows.
yeah,
If it's a Saturday and not a Sunday,
yeah,
then you go the show on the Saturday, sick. Sunday, it's like right, cool, get on top of things and then ready for Monday. But when it's Saturday and Sunday, or when it's Sunday, like again, some of the shows like finish on a Sunday at like midnight, and it's
yeah,
like I need to be up at 5, like doing
yeah.
check-ins again in the morning. It's like it just takes it out of you.
And then as well, like it sounds again, this is such a not it's not even a complaint, but it is just the honest truth. Like, especially like again, when you're prepping yourself. Like I remember the first few shows, like the UK FBA shows when I was dieting, like midway through the year, had a few people go, Reece, you're looking pretty good right now. And I was like, oh, cheers, mate, thanks. And it was quite nice. And then at every show towards the end, it was like, hey mate, what
Yeah.
show are you doing now? You doing today? And I was like, no, I'm not. And they're like, congrats on this. I'm like, thank you. And then they're like, what do you think about this? I'm like, oh, sorry, mate, I've got a client on stage. And
It is nice, but
yeah,
I know
it's
what you mean.
really
When
nice.
you low on energy, you sort of social battery's low
Yeah.
is
I
difficult.
mean, like that PCA finals, like it objectively should have been like the best day ever. I had like 30 to 40 clients that turned up. I did not really say to anybody, I'm doing this show. I didn't really say it to any of my clients or anyone really. I was just like, I said I was going to do PCA finals, but I didn't say like, come and watch me. They'd all got Airbnbs, they were all training, they all wanted to go out for food. When I went to the toilet after like when I was just like doing like little check-ins and stuff, like every time I'd look left and there'd be another three of my clients, or I'd know somebody and I was like almost thinking to myself, like I'm walking to the toilet with my head down. I'm being a prick because I can't be asked to talk to anybody, but this is shit because I want to be like, how you doing? You're all right. We can train tomorrow and stuff like that. And it's just, again, it's just all of it where it's not where you're not yourself. You just don't have enough energy. And you almost, then again, I think you get annoyed because it's really cool, but it's not the same, you know?
Yeah. I like look back at mine and think about like how I was on show days, and I was never a dick. I was just literally kept
No,
myself to myself and just like hid away because I just didn't have any energy. I didn't have any energy for myself or for you or for Shannon at the time. You know what I mean? I had no energy for anyone, let alone like people coming to watch me, like my clients who I really appreciate it. But I almost then am having to be like a bit in work mode and
yeah,
I'm fucked. And it's like, yeah, again, like it's not good. But again, when you're really, really lean, like it's hard not to feel like that.
yeah, no, definitely. I agree. Right, do you want to get into some of the questions? Do you get any last minute questions?
Yeah, I got a few.
Okay, we'll go through them. I got eight. So two of them, I made a joke about this before. When are you going to do rate your physiques? And then physique rating episode soon.
People
Guys,
like them, mate.
people like them. Finn, don't try and act like the good guy. You were the one who was like, fucking hell, we're not even started yet. Finn puts on this persona. It's
No,
someone
but I was
said,
like, we will do them because they are
yeah,
like people do like them, and I don't mind doing them. They are quite good, but they we can't do every single episode.
no,
And
definitely not.
please, after we've done it, don't keep sending them in because it's like you've missed the boat.
Yeah, like, and then as well, like, I think people watch them for them, and then like, I think it's just very much like beginners that watch them. Like, I don't
Yeah,
think anyone with like a decent physique is like, hey man, let me go see what
yeah.
Steve, DT, Natty from fucking Swansea is
That's it.
looking
They're
at.
literally waiting to hear what you say about them, and then
Yeah,
they'll log off. And the thing is, as well, if it's not what they want to hear, they won't watch us ever again because they'll hate us.
no. Like Ollie, for example, Ollie Greaves decided to sign up with me after I was like, mate, you're shit in men's physique. Noah, Noah's got me screen recorded on his fucking phone that he listens to before every single set. I said, you're probably not going to win many shows, mate. The reason why he doesn't do bodybuilding anymore, just men's physique. So
Yeah.
yeah, makes sense. So yeah, two were there. World Cup predictions, mate. I have honestly not paid attention to any international football. Who's the favourite?
I
France?
think England, maybe England, France would be favourites. England's
Uh,
group's not that challenging. I think there is
World
one
Cup.
group that looks quite hard. It's like maybe France, someone else, and Croatia. Maybe I can't remember.
Mate, we forgot the number one. Who do you reckon number one is? Like, percentage.
What the absolute best? Portugal.
Oh, no, like 17% chance of victory. Spain.
Yeah, I said Spain, Spain, France.
Don't think you said France and England, mate.
Yeah, and then I said Spain as
Oh,
well. So I think
okay.
Spain and France, or there is a group that's like a hard group.
It's
Um,
Spain 17%, England 11.8, France below that 10, 9, I think.
France's team's good.
Yeah, France's team is really good. Ekitike and Mbappe front two. Oh, crazy. Um, yeah, I think Spain, Yamal, Rodri gets himself fully fit. That Spanish team in the Euros was really good. When we watched it,
Yeah,
like they were very good.
I
Like,
don't see us winning it.
no, I don't. Well, I think it'll be Harry Kane will start after 3 games, group stages. He'll get a penalty and maybe a tap in. And then the first knockout game, you'll realise that he's miles off the pace internationally and we don't have a striker. Like we then aren't playing like we don't have
Mate,
Rashford.
he's doing so well in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, but the Bundesliga, mate, Luis Diaz looks like Ronaldinho in the Bundesliga, and I was like watching Luis Diaz made me want to like gouge my eyes out. He had like negative IQ, so bad. Great technically, but just awful
Yeah,
decision.
but now, yeah, like now and again, he had little spells, didn't he?
Oh mate, he was Diaz is like the Ronaldinho of Martinelli's. Like when you don't watch him, and what I mean by that is like when you don't watch him, you think like if I said to you, "What do you think of Martinelli?" You'd be like, "Oh yeah, he's sound." But when you watch him every week, you realize he's brain dead. And the same with Diaz. Like Diaz, you'd see him on Match of the Day, and you'd be like, "What the fuck? This guy's a joke." But then he misplaced 7 passes, and he's not the best. So yeah, I'd say to be fair, mate, we're forgetting Argentina. Messi at 38 on a wheelchair.
I'd say
Dragging them.
it'll be between France and Spain.
Have you seen the Portugal Argentina quarterfinal potential? They're seeded, so as long as they both get to the quarters, they'll 100% play each other.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, which is really cool. So that means that like the Ronaldo Messi, oh my god, final battle. You
That'd be
know,
sick.
yeah, and you just watch it and you're like, oh,
Portugal's team's good.
yeah, they're all right.
I'd say it's better than Argentina's team.
Yeah, but Argentina are just dogs, aren't they? Like that's the thing with Argentina. Like they're warriors. So yeah, I think Spain or France. That would be my two, and then I think England would probably be third. So yeah, I think England. Where do you reckon England are going to get knocked out? Semis?
Yeah, semis.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Right, your questions, mate. Want to go through some?
Um, most amount of pre-workout you've ever taken. Any bad experiences?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Just
I
leave it at that.
remember.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, buddy. Next
Next
question.
question.
Next question. Mate, we'd be shit podcast hosts.
Well,
These guys don't even answer questions. Fucking hell, fuck these guys. Especially that Reese. Fuck that guy. I think it was actually you who they didn't like. Anyway, yeah, I did. Yeah, man. Next question. Yeah. To answer the question, yeah. I remember in like 2020, 2021, I had a friend called Ryan who was sponsored by G Fuel.
he's dead
And
now because of the pre. Yeah.
yeah, no, he's actually gay, so that's the equivalent of being dead, isn't it? Like, I don't speak to him anymore.
Can't.
Mate, it's 2026. This is a new year. You just start, if you chat shit, you can say whatever. We
So
love
being
having
gay is the equivalent of being dead. That's what this podcast
to
title
me,
is going to be.
clearly. I don't speak to him anymore.
You actually not speak to him.
No, not really. I spoke to him a few times. He messaged me like on my birthday and stuff like that. It's like, one of those, happy birthday, mate.
Yeah.
Next message. Happy birthday, happy New Year. Like, we won't like interact. It's a shame because Ryan's a great lad. Even though he is gay. Sorry. Crazy. Didn't think it was possible. Yeah, Ryan's a great lad. Anyway, that's about Ryan being gay. More about him almost killing me. He gave me a G Fuel tub, and he was like, he'd give me the non-stim ones because I used to always say like, it's like a nootropic. I don't want to have stims. I'll have like my C4 and my MV pre and stuff. So he gave me a tub of this like G Fuel, and he'd always give me the non-stim ones that they'd send him. And I was like, with bear in mind, crazy he'd have caffeine to play video games. Like, I couldn't imagine anything worse. Like, heart rate through the roof to playing FIFA. Like, that sounds awful. But anyway, he gave me this tub, and I had a white monster and 2 scoops of, I think, C4, because I was like pretty tired. And then had 2 scoops of this, what I thought was a nootropic. And it turned out that it was, I think, like 200 milligrams of caffeine each time. And the C4 was just caffeine, but it was like very much always felt pretty watered down. So I'd always do like 2 to 3 scoops, and the white monster was 150. And I worked out that I think I had close to a gram or just over a gram of caffeine in like a pre-workout situation. And I remember training and I was like, I'm really stimulated, like really like on the edge of being like, this is something's bad's gonna happen. And my heart rate wouldn't come down. And I had to like sit down in between sets, like after like just like a lateral raise, and just let my heart rate come down. It just would not come down. And then I can't remember if I even trained, but it was like I recognized I'm wired as fuck, or like I'm cranked to the max. I'm probably not going to train. But it was like the weirdest feeling ever, because it was like almost just felt like I was just like sprinting while doing a lateral raise. I was like, this is not making any sense. So yeah, that was my bad experience with pre-workout, I guess.
The only real bad experience I've had is that anomaly that we used to use.
Oh yeah, that was bad. I forgot about that. Yeah.
That was good.
Do you know, Finn? I don't know if I told you this. You know Jack, so the lad that obviously works at our gym, Jack Birch. You know his coach is the guy that sold me that pre-workout.
Really?
Yes, yes. So shout out Will Noble. I messaged Will because Will was messaging me a lot in my prep. Like, not I said a lot, like a few times, just like, mate, you look great and stuff like that. And I just randomly dropped a message like, bro, we've met each other in person before. And he was like, yeah, man, I remember I sold you a pre-workout. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah, you nearly killed me.
you fucking about killed me. Yeah, I got this anomaly pre from T Nutrition in Liverpool, and it got banned like a month later. And it honestly, like, I'd like to know the panel. And
Was bad.
yeah, because like it wasn't even we were young and we were like, it's so strong. Like, it was awful. Like, we would take a scoop really only before leg days. And I think, to be fair, us going straight in on the hack squat with no warm up probably didn't help. Like, you
No,
taking a
we
scoop of
did
stim,
warm. We did warm.
warm up on the hack.
Yeah, yeah. There's no other
Yeah.
exercise.
And then we do like 7 assisted reps on a 2 rep max.
Yeah.
So you do 2, fail probably the second, and
Yeah,
then
you'd usually fail the first one,
yeah, usually
but
fail
then
first.
you'd just get 10 somehow.
Yeah, you get 10. We do the opposite of a Conor Launder, where Conor was getting told, go again, one more. He's like, no, I can't. Like, that really
We
broke my heart.
failed, and it's like, go again. It's like, yeah, I can. I can.
Yeah, I can.
You're
Somehow,
just gonna have to
somehow
keep
I
picking
can.
it up.
Yeah, somehow I can. Yeah. So yeah, that was really fun. I remember like I legitimately had like anxiety off like anything and everything that would happen for the next like 6 hours.
Horrible.
Come down to, oh mate, actually no, you know what? I had a pre that's worse than that. I had a, have you heard of that crack pre-workout? Not
Yeah.
actual crack. Yeah. I had like the version 1 or something with Jacob Tipper. This was 2024, like back end. So like just over a year ago. And I had a scoop of that. And I remember like in between sets, I was like chugging my intra because I felt like I was going hypo. And I realized after like the fourth intra set chug that I was like, oh, this isn't hypo, this is the pre-workout. Because I felt like I was really like dizzy and slightly on edge. But when I did the sets, I was like super locked in and super focused. And Jacob was like stimmed out of his mind, doing his usual, just like him. Jacob just loves it. And I'm just like, this is not cool. This is not normal. And then I couldn't eat my post workout meal. It took me like, I could. It took me about an hour to eat my post workout meal. But it was like just my appetite and everything was just dead. It was like really bizarre. But it was a good session, but it was like such a weird. My body was just like, what the fuck is this? And why have you taken this? It felt very much like a recreational drug if I was to imagine what a recreational drug would feel like. I had no
Yeah.
idea. So yeah, that was bad. Right, next one. Do you prefer dumbbells or Smith for incline press?
Smith.
Bro, yeah. I'm sorry. Do we post dumbbells? Not really. Like Finn hasn't done a dumbbell press since 2022. You know?
I've done one. Did it once
Yeah,
in Donny, and we got like the 50 somethings for reps. Reps,
yeah,
bro. Reps being like 5 or 6.
yeah. This is one, and I don't know if you've had this a lot. I feel like I've had a lot of guys recently. I don't know if it is social media and just pressure. Like, so the question is, what would you say to a 19-year-old not too sure where they want to go in life? Are you noticing? Like, maybe
Who's
you can
asked
play it
that?
wrong. A guy called Goes Jim. I will ignore his first name because he might not want me to name him.
Yeah, same. What would you
Yeah,
tell your 19-year-old self? Same
yeah.
question.
Because I've had a lot of clients this last like probably couple months, maybe because we're older and we probably are like maybe a more mature figure. But like I definitely feel like there's a lot more younger guys now that are just like lost. And spoiler alert, everyone when they're 19 doesn't really know what they're doing. You know, most people in their 20s don't know what they're doing. But I've had a lot of people mention it to me where I'm like repeating myself constantly like, a lot. And I'm like, fucking hell, this is like, again, I don't know, maybe it's because people on their phones more, social media pressures. I don't know. I feel like when we were younger, like we obviously didn't really know what we were doing, but we were like just fucking going to the gym and throwing weights around. And who the fuck cares, you know?
Yeah, I think when I saw that question, like realistically, like what would I tell my 19-year-old self? Like, I think you just like I wouldn't. I'd just let myself make the same mistakes and put the same effort in and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
there's not really anything I look back and go, oh fucking hell, why did I do that? Or what was I doing there? Like, because everything that you do, you fuck around and find out like whether or
yeah,
not you should do that or not. Like,
yeah,
it's not that difficult. And if you're being a fucking idiot
yeah,
with drugs and alcohol and shit like that, then you know you're being a fucking idiot. No one goes like, "Oh, this is what I should be doing." Like, you know that you're being an idiot. Like, I think, like you said, it's probably because we're maybe seen as successful in a certain way,
mm,
and because we are more mature now. Like I'm 20, I'm turning 29 this year, mate. So like that'd be
yeah,
me speaking to like my ten years ago, speaking to
yeah,
myself. Like, so like fair enough. Like, yeah, of course we are a lot more mature, but I feel like the more mature you get, the more you realize like you have to make those same mistakes that you made, and you have to learn as you go. Like, it's like when I was growing up, like my parents would, especially like with a couple of relationships that I had, like
mm,
afterwards, I'd tell them like, oh yeah, we've broken up and this is why, and they'd be like, yeah, we knew you were never like it wasn't
yeah,
gonna work, and I'm like, why didn't you say it? Like, because it's your life, you make your own mistakes, you learn from it. You know, we're not here to tell you what to do. We're here to like, as what my mum always used to say, like pick up the pieces when things go wrong. Like we're here to help when that happens, and I think that's the same with anything. Like you just do the work, you learn as you go
yeah,
when things aren't working, you'll realize because you'll feel like you're kind of at a standstill or you're going backwards. When
yeah,
things are going well, you use that energy. Like make sure that you sort of thrive off of that energy and sort of build on that energy when things are moving forwards. It's like with
yeah,
the gym, like with our coaching, like with your own bodybuilding. Like when you're in a good groove, things feel good. Like
yeah,
you feel good. Yeah. And then you want to keep feeling good. So you want to keep working hard and doing what's making you feel good. And usually that keeps you moving forwards. But yeah, like you said, it's probably a case of pressures on social media, people seeing these. There's obviously the odd few like freaks at 18, 19 who are either crazy successful or, crazy strong or whatever it is, and thinking that they should be at that level. And it's like,
unfollow Will Holmes basically. That's what everyone should do. Like,
yeah, just unfollow anybody who makes you feel shit. That's what everybody does.
and anybody is better than you, they're probably on gear. So just stay
Yeah.
natural, and then just think, nah, they're better than me because they're on gear. That's why.
Just unfollow everyone.
Yeah, I honestly think like I actually do think for mental health, like there is a clear correlation between screen time on Instagram and probably like mental health being worse.
Yeah.
The reason why this guy's probably asking these questions is because over the last 2 weeks, he's probably been at home over the festive period. he's been on his phone more, and he's seeing all people post, got this for Christmas, so I'm doing this for New Year's, I'm going to London, going to this place, whatever. And he's like sat with his like mum and dad, who he's not actually appreciating he's got his family, and stuff like that, or whatever. I don't know this dude personally. But yeah, I think like I know you obviously mentioned what your mum said. Like my mum always used to say, like life's like full of lessons, and then just put positive energy into what you're doing. And you don't need to have a purpose. Like when I was in my teens, when Finn was in his teens, going to the gym, like every day pretty much, we weren't thinking we were going to be successful because we're going to be amazing bodybuilders or we're going to be coaches that are raking it in, whatever. Like we didn't think that. We were thinking this is better than probably going to the fucking pub, and this is something
Even
that's
like
better
with
than
the,
sitting inside.
I was saying this to Meg the other day about the podcast. She's just started a podcast with Ella and Zena,
Yeah.
and I was saying like when me and you started the podcast, like the last thing we were thinking was like, oh, this is gonna like really
Cool.
help our coaching businesses,
Yeah.
or this is gonna help us earn enough money to start a gym. Like we never
Yeah.
thought or said that
No,
in
no.
any way. Like it was literally, oh, like we're having quite cool conversations when we're training. Why don't we do a podcast? Like that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
And
literally.
that's why it did well because we
I also
weren't
didn't
doing
think
it to
about.
try and get clients or
No, no, we didn't even think about it as like a. I wonder if people listen. Like I think nowadays, again, with social media, there's so much self doubt, and it's like, try everything, go all in, and if it doesn't work, cool, have the balls to say this isn't for me. But if you really enjoy it, just stick at it. Like, I don't think we uploaded and went, oh my god, mate, we've got 20 views on our first one, or we've got 100 views, or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I post the exact same content now that I did 5 years ago. I just have a bit more muscle now, and I've probably aged 10 years. Sorry, that's it. Finn does the exact same, but he's not aged as much. But like to be fair, actually, you have a little bit, but not as bad.
I feel like I look quite young. I look
Yeah,
quite
yeah, you do, man. Yeah, you look smart, bro. Yeah, you look cool. Yeah, like
also a coach.
wow, I'm a YTUOY. Yeah, I'm a whatever this is. No, fuck that.
Is it? I'm guessing it's backwards on your screen because it's not on mine.
Oh, is it not? Fuck.
Is coach backwards on yours?
No, it's normal.
Coach is backwards on mine.
Oh, that's weird. That's like yeah, flipped.
Whoa.
Oh, what the fuck, man? Look at
All right,
that.
let's wrap this up because we're going to be an hour and I don't want to be more than an hour.
Right, let me see.
I've got a really good question.
Okay.
How much aura could an aura farmer farm if an aura farmer could farm aura?
I'd say a lot of fucking
Perfect
farming.
question for you, mate.
Yeah, yeah, perfect question. You ever play Minecraft, bro? You get like the diamond hoe. You ever play Minecraft? Nothing.
No, I had friends growing up.
Oh, really? Okay, fair enough. See, I didn't, and I just wanted to play Minecraft. Yeah, diamond hoe, you could be a good farmer. So it depends. Like, if you gave me a diamond hoe, pretty fucking good. Um, but yeah, unfortunately, mate, I wouldn't actually know without a diamond hoe. So I only know farming from Minecraft. So yeah, that's my answer. Give me a diamond hoe, I say a lot.
I've also got is Reese fit homosexual?
Who from?
Finley Turner.
Oh fuck! I told him not to say anything.
Who is that?
If I speak, I'll be in trouble. No, I don't know. Um, yeah, I don't know Finley Turner. Do you know Finley Turner? No. The thing is, I guarantee, like that sort of comment would be like, I don't know you. You don't really know me. And like, you come up to me at a show and be like, "Hey, bro, are you gay?" And I'd be like, "Who are you?"
So he's a 16-year-old
That's
who
really
competed with the WMBF, and that's that's all I'm gonna say.
fairs. I
And
would.
I'm only saying that because I've gone on his profile and his one post is him competing with the WMBF.
You just sent me it.
Shout out Finley Turner.
Okay. I would comment on his age and make a joke, but I feel like I probably would get cancelled for that. So, yeah, I'm for the facts. I have a fiance. I don't even have a girlfriend, guys. I'm straight. But it does depend who asks, and 20 quid is 20 quid. That's what I would like to reiterate to every single person who is listening. Do I have any other questions? No, I've got microdosing, Retta, best way. What would you dose your GH during prep? Finn wouldn't be able to even speak about that. He actually can't even be involved in anything like that. It would be
Yeah,
bad for his brand.
not good for my
Um,
business.
yeah, it'd be bad for his business. It's not a good image. Um, and then the usual three shift work. How to best to plan night shift, which I feel like we've answered a million times. We probably actually have a title of that. So I'm sorry, mate. But that is that. Finn, it has been splendid. Getting back into a bit of a, I say getting back into the groove, not even back into the groove, actually doing a podcast after a long hiatus, and hopefully we continue them this year. Like we really need to, because I do enjoy them.
All good.
Yeah, sound right. That's that,
You're
guys.
on outro duty, yeah.
Ah, fuck yeah, that's it. Right. So thank you for everybody who has rejoined us. 2026, we are going to be taking back over as probably the worst podcast on the web, mainly because other people are getting more clout than us doing podcasts that weren't as good as us, and they were getting voted for. And me and Finn were like, oh, we need to get
It
that
just
title
filled
back.
the gap that we left.
Yeah, I feel like literally, guys, like us pulling out just allowed other podcasts to jump in, which is not good. Like, so therefore, this year we're taking back over, and that's that. Stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe. Weekly episode coming out. Finn's got a frog,
This is
and
the new mascot.
yeah, the new mascot of the podcast for Finn Kelly. And like I said, back like we never left, even though hopefully we don't leave anytime soon. Okay,
Peace.
cool. Bye bye.